You're listening to This Week in America with Rick Bratton.
Welcome back, everybody. This Week in America, website thisweekinamerica.us. Back with us on the program, Dr. Michael A. Smith, author, national spokesperson, and senior health scientist for Life Extension, based in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the world's leading organization dedicated to helping people stay healthy and live better. Dr. Smith is an MD with a great deal of knowledge of natural health and how dietary supplements benefit our body. He's a frequent media guest, and he's going to be a frequent media guest on this program once again. Dr. Smith, welcome back to the program. Great to have you with us.
Oh, thank you, Rick. Thanks for having me back. It's great.
Oh, I had so much fun a couple of weeks ago, and you can find that show with Dr. Smith by going to our website, thisweekinamerica.us. You can see the video version by clicking on YouTube. You can listen on iTunes. We're back on today's show because we wanted to talk about multivitamins, and here's something that's probably going to take the entire program and then some. And wanted Dr. Smith to come back and talk about that. And I guess the first question is, whenever you mention that, people will go, well, why do I need a multivitamin? I think I'm eating right. I had a banana like a couple of days ago. My diet is fine. Why do I need a multivitamin?
Well, maybe because you think a banana 2 days ago is all you need.
I guess, yeah, your question it sort of answered itself.
Yeah, well, but let's use that, though, because that is a good example, because I have some data that supports what you just said. Listen, people are trying to eat better, Rick, and I think that's great. We need to do that. We need to eat fresher food, organic food, more produce, more fruits and vegetables, right? The lean cuts of meat, the good oils. People are trying to do that, but there's a couple of things I want to mention. Number one, in their efforts to try to do that, we're trying to reverse, for many of us, decades of bad eating, right? Bad lifestyles. We're trying to recognize that we need to make some changes. We've been eating the standard American diet, which is SAD, SAD. Most of us have been doing that for our whole lives. So if you're in your 40s and 50s and you're finally starting to realize I need fresher food, I need more fruits and vegetables, it takes time to really get that going. And so and that's where a multivitamin is a great product for filling in that nutritional gap as you're trying to eat better, and that's going to take time and effort. But that's one. So that's one reason that filling that nutritional gap. But the other flip side of that is there are a lot of people, unfortunately, Rick, that think eating a banana once a week is enough.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And that might be healthier than what they did a year ago, but it's still not quite where we need to be. As a matter of fact, in 2005, the United States government, the USDA, put out a report that showed most Americans were deficient in the basic vitamins and minerals. And not just deficient, but they also had inadequate intake. We're talking I think vitamin E was like 90% of us were showing inadequate intake. Vitamin A was like 60%. Magnesium was like 50%. I mean, these are basic building blocks of being a healthy human, and we're not getting near enough of them. So we're trying to eat better, but there's that nutritional gap. We're still not getting enough. That's the USDA report. But here's then the real killer in all this, and this is the part that makes me the most sad. The food that we eat today is not near as nutritious as it was just, say, 50 years ago.
Well, you have that in fact, we've got a free ebook. If you go to the website, and I'll do this throughout the program, lifeextension.com/multivitamin. Very simple to remember. You can link on directly at our website. And it's, again, laid out very well. You've got pictures, you've got graphics. It'll take you literally a few minutes to read, and great information there. You point out, for example, a tomato today does not have the same nutritional value of a tomato even 20 years ago. And it's like, I read that twice to make sure I was reading it correctly.
It's true. Yeah, so what we have studies to back that up, too. We've looked at mineral content of food that's grown conventionally or organic, that they have soils that are preserved, and you can use those preserved soils to do studies with. And when they use the preserved soils and they compare it to current soil, the preserved soil produces food that is much more nutritious, and that's because the soil quality has dropped off in this country so significantly. The soil is depleted of basic what are called nitrates and compounds that are good for growing fruits and vegetables. The minerals, the magnesium, the seleniums, the chromiums, the copper, those are all leached out of our soil today. And so we're not getting any of those key minerals that we need every single day to remain healthy. Why? Oh, by the way, do you know, Rick, the first time our government did, or the year that our government did the first soil survey and claimed that our soils were nutrient depleted? Do you have any idea what year that was?
No idea.
1920. So in
Wow.
1920, we already knew back then that we were depleting our soils. And guess what's been done since then to improve our soils?
I'm going to say nothing.
Not much. I mean, there's been efforts, and we're trying to make improvements. But for the most part, really the only way you can improve soil nutrition or the content of the soil is by resting the soil. You're supposed to, harvest a plot of land for a year, and then you take a year off, and you're supposed to rest the soil like that. Well, big pharma, not big pharma pharmaceutical, but big pharma, the farms, the corporate farms, they never rest the soil, and they haven't rested the soil for decades, and the soils are very nutrient poor. And so nutrient poor soils produce nutrient poor food. Nutrient poor food produces nutrient poor Ricks and Dr. Mikes. So there's another reason why we do need to, even if you're eating well and you're eating organic food, it's just not the same as it used to be. A multivitamin's important. And the last thing I want to say here, so we mentioned the nutritional gap. We mentioned the fact that we're even when we try to eat, we're not getting the right vitamins and minerals. The soils are poor. The last thing I want to mention is the lifestyles that we live today. Most of us are just go, 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 right? I mean,
Yes.
it's nonstop, 24-hour information cycle, especially during, campaign seasons and stuff like that. People are it's just nonstop, bombarded with news and whatever. And I mean, we're not meant to be like that. And that kind of stress, that type of lifestyle really zaps the body every day, really, of key vitamins, key minerals. And again, a multivitamin is a great way to replenish that. So those are the reasons we think all of us should be taking a multivitamin.
That free ebook that I was talking about, and you get that by going to lifeextension.com/multivitamin. It's called Are You Taking the Right Multivitamin? So we've established that, okay, it's a good thing to take a multivitamin because we're not getting the nutrition that we need to. We think we may, but chances are we're not doing that. One question that comes up is, do I need gender or age-specific multivitamin? I'm thinking,
good question.
okay, I go into the store and I'm looking for the senior version of that. Some people are going, okay, male, female, what do I do? And others are I'm 28 years old. What do I need a multivitamin for?
Well, okay, so that's a great question. And I address this in the ebook, actually.
Yes.
And it's my opinion, it's Life Extension's opinion, that you don't need a gender-specific multivitamin. As a matter of fact, when you really investigate the products that claim they're, multivitamin for men or women, whatever. It's really not. All they do, let me give you an example. You could take a generic multivitamin, Rick, and I can add in a little bit more saw palmetto, which is really good for the prostate gland. And now guess what I call that? A multivitamin for a man. But I didn't really change the amount of vitamins, minerals. I just added a little bit more saw palmetto. For women, you might add in some what are called phytoestrogens, and you call it a multivitamin for women during menopause and stuff like that. But it's really, really not necessary. We all throughout, by the time you hit your 20s, all the way through the end of life, we all need the same amount, for the most part, of your basic vitamins and minerals. So you don't need to get caught up in men's formula versus women's formula. The amount of saw palmetto that I might put in a generic multivitamin to call it a men's formula is probably not enough to do anything for you anyways. Instead, you should just do a prostate formula if you're concerned about it, a separate product. So no, I don't worry about the gender specific ones. Starting in your 20s all the way up, it's the same multivitamin for all of us.
There is so much information, great information in the ebook, lifeextension.com, multivitamin, where you get it. It's called, the title of the book is Are You Taking the Right Multivitamin? Just for a second, I'm going to jump to the end. You've got an appendix of nutrients, and I'm looking at that. You'd almost have to sit every day and keep a journal what you're eating, because this part of your body needs this, and my vision needs this, and my hearing needs this, and my joints need this. It's rather complicated if you're trying to sit there and check off, 2 bananas, 3 oranges, I got to have 4 tomatoes, a little lettuce here. That's difficult if you do it all on your own, just trying to do it from your diet.
Yeah, well, and that's where the multivitamin comes in. So eat everything you just said. Yes, eat those things, Rick, right? I mean, that's what we want to do. But again, remember, our food is not what it used to be. It's not as nutrient dense as it used to be. We're stressed out all the time. And again, I think that the multivitamin gives you a consistent amount of all the basic vitamins and minerals that you need that you get from all those different foods. It comes in 1 or 2 capsules. Life Extension has one where it's just 2 tablets a day, optimal levels of those vitamins and minerals, and it's consistent. It's every day. It's what your body needs. And that's why I consider a multivitamin to be the foundation of all nutritional regimens. Once you got the diet taken care of and you're exercising, the next thing we all should do is that multivitamin.
How do we go about finding the right multivitamin? If you go looking, people are going to say, boy, I've got vitamins for you. And then you've got like 8,000 to choose from there. What's the criteria you recommend to find the right multivitamin?
This is really why I wrote the ebook, because it's a common question that we get. I think in the natural medicine world, Rick, we've done a good job convincing people they need a multivitamin. It was a tougher sell maybe 2 or 3 or 4 years ago. But I think we've done a good job educating the public on the soil conditions, the stressful lives, and I think people are getting it. So, but now that more people are doing them, a more common question we're getting is, well, how do I mean, when was the last time, Rick, you went into, a vitamin store, right? And you went down the vitamin line. Most of them, as a matter of fact, have an aisle of just multivitamins.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, there's hundreds of multivitamins probably in your favorite store alone. Go on Google and just type in multivitamin, and thousands could potentially pop up. So this is this is why I wrote the ebook. It was really to address the person who gets it. They understand that. Now I got to find a high quality one. I think, and I go into detail in the ebook how to do this. And I think for our purposes, the best thing I could do is focus on something called a certificate of analysis. Or the industry refers to it as a C of A. And this is really important because what this document is, it's proof of the multivitamin that you're about to purchase. It's proof that everything on the label is exactly the way it is in the exact amount. And only really high quality companies like Life Extension, I don't mind plugging my company. I think we're a great company. It's company like us that actually spend the money to randomly test our own products, and we send it off to a third-party lab. So we're not doing the lab work ourselves, right? But we randomly pull products off. We send it out to this lab. They test our product for purity, for potency, for contaminants, and it all gets put on this document called a C of A. So what does that mean to you as a consumer when you're in the multivitamin aisle at the store? I mean, how do you know that? Well, here's where it takes a little bit more work, but I think it's worth it. I think, Rick, we spend more time choosing a cell phone or a cell phone plan than we do, sometimes the foods we eat and the supplements we buy, right? But I think with a little bit of effort, this really helps. On the back of the multivitamin, whichever one you're about to buy, there should be a manufacturer's number there. Most of us have our cell phones with us all the time, right? That's part of the problem, right? We're stressed out.
Exactly.
So you take your cell phone out and you call that number right there in the aisle. And whoever answers, all you say is, I want to buy your product. All I want to know is, do you have a certificate of analysis on file for this product? And if the person says to you on the other line, what? You probably want to hang up the phone and go find the next one. A company that does, they're going to tell you, yes, we have a C of A on file. Yes, our product's been tested. Would you love to see the document? The minute you hear that, whether or not you want to see it, that's up to you. But at least you know they have it. They're willing to send it to you. That most likely in your hand is a high quality multivitamin. I think that's the best, most active thing we can do to make sure we're buying the right one.
So basically, you can tell a lot by the tone of the phone call. If you get somebody that acts lost, Yeah, it's like, okay, have a nice day and go on to the next one. With us on the program is Dr. Michael Smith, author, national spokesperson, senior health scientist for Life Extension based in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And we're talking in the program today about multivitamins. And there's a free ebook and there's filled with great information. Again, it's colorful, it's easy to read, it gets right to the point. The website is lifeextension.com/multivitamin, and you can download it. If you go to the website thisweekinamerica.us, you can link directly to Dr. Smith's website and get that information. A couple minutes left in the program. Again, you're a medical doctor. You've been doing this for years. You understand the benefit of multivitamins, and I can tell by the passion in your voice, you really believe, even if you think you're eating right, you really need to take these. I bet you eat right and you take multivitamins.
I do. Yeah, I take the Life Extension 2 per day every day. And I do try to eat well, but I understand that the life I lead, the soil conditions, all that stuff. I think it's important. It forms the supplement regimen that I take. It forms that foundation, and everything else I do is built upon those basic vitamins and minerals. Remember, the vitamins and minerals are the building blocks of being a healthy human. And that's where it begins. We should get it from our food. There's no doubt about that. But unfortunately, food alone is just not enough today. And that's that nutritional gap that forms that a multivitamin can fill. If we have time, I'd like to say one other thing about finding a quality multivitamin. So we mentioned the certificate of analysis. You'll hear a lot today, Rick, too, about third-party certifications. I think Nature's Made, which is a great company, they make a lot of money. They're able to do a lot of commercials, and they always talk about USP, which is the United States Pharmacopoeia, which is a third-party group that looks at the quality of products and stuff like that, and they give a stamp. By the way, Life Extension has some products that are USP. The reason I want to bring that up, I think that's also important to look at. Look for products that have some sort of third-party certification. And by the way, USP, which is a big one out there, is not the only one. There's the NSF, there's the ANSI, there's also the NFA. These are all my ebook, by the way. The reason I want to say these other acronyms is because I want your listeners to get used to the fact that it doesn't just have to be USP. There's a lot of really good organizations that test the purity and potency and the quality of supplements, and if you pass, you get their seal either on the web page or on the bottle itself. So look for that as well besides the C of A.
And as you're looking for that in the store and you have your phone out calling to ask if they have the third-party certification, go to Google and run through those initials you've got there and see if it really comes back as anything. You can make up a set of 3 or 4 initials thinking it stands for something.
Listen, the big ones are USP, NSF, ANSI, and NF. I'm sorry, I keep saying that wrong. NNFA. Those are the big ones.
A minute left in the program. We talked about this last time, and it's so important because when you mention supplements, you mention multivitamins, people will say, I saw them talk about that one time on TV. That's the Wild West. Anybody can make this stuff and put it in the store and sell it. And you said the last time, it's like it actually is regulated.
Oh, yeah. So there's 2 big myths that supplements aren't studied. Which is what the doctors usually argue with. And then the other side of it is with the consumers is that they're not, the industry is not regulated. And that's just not true. Those are myths. The industry, first of all, there's lots of studies supporting the use of nutrients. I'm a medical doctor. I'm kind of a science nerd. I enjoy looking at research, and there's tons of research backing the use of many supplements. So that's number one. Number two, the industry is regulated. The FDA and the FTC regulate how the products are made, what kind of claims you can make on the products, what's in the products, how they can be marketed. There are some bad companies out there, some bad players sometimes that try to, it's called adulterate a product where they add extra ingredients that are more drug-like and they get better effects so they can sell more. But the reason we know that is because we are regulated and the FDA finds those companies, removes those products, and those companies are prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Here's what I like to say. Stick with the companies that have been around for a long time. Life Extension, Source Naturals. I mentioned Nature's Made. I mean, these are companies that play by the rules, have those third-party certifications, have those C of A's. Those are companies you can trust, and they are producing effective and safe products out there. So we are tested and we are regulated. Those are 2 myths we really have to dispel.
All of that in the free ebook, which is called, the title is, Are You Taking the Right Multivitamin? It's got all the information you need there. Very simple. It's free to download. You go to lifeextension.com/multivitamin. If you get lost and can't remember that, go to our website, thisweekinamerica.us, and you can link on directly to Dr. Mike's website. Again, it's lifeextension.com/multivitamin. As always, Doctor, the time goes by quickly. Great information. Look forward to having you back on the program. Thanks for being with us. It was fun.
Rick, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you. You're listening to This Week in America. Website, thisweekinamerica.us.